Bruce, you must have something really good too.
Of course I do. It's Bruce Danielson, and I guess I'm here to entertain you too.
I'd like to call this informational meeting of Wednesday, May 4th, 2022 to order. Our first item of business is committee or commission reports. Metro Management Council, Councilor Kiley.
Thank you very much. It was a relatively short meeting. We had an executive session, but prior to that, there was a report on the state radio system and improvements that are being planned to improve the coverage throughout Minnehaha County as well as the northern portion of Lincoln County. So following the executive session, we adjourned. But that was about it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Council remarks at this time? Hearing none, we'll jump into a presentation, the 2022-23 Sculpture Walk Review.
Good afternoon. I'm Diane DeCoyer, the liaison for arts for the city. We have a presentation today by Sculpture Walk, Washington Pavilion, but I just wanted to give you a little bit of background. The Sculpture Walk program is celebrating its 19th year and has grown from 34 sculptures in 2004 to 67 sculptures coming up on May 14th. So in the 19 years, there's been over 1,000 sculptures throughout downtown, making it a huge attraction, both for visitors and residents in the downtown area. For the 2022 program, there was 180 entries. Submissions were received from 5 countries outside of the U.S., and that includes Canada, China, Nigeria, Ukraine, and Zimbabwe. 25 states are represented, 10 new artists to the program, 8 sculptures from artists in South Dakota, and 4 within Sioux Falls. From May through September, the public votes for the People's Choice sculpture, and that sculpture is purchased by the city for up to $20,000. More than 300,000 people come to downtown Sioux Falls just to visit Sculpture Walk each year. Several city departments, including Public Works, Engineering, Risk Management, Planning and Development Services, along with the Visual Arts Commission, reviews the proposed sculptures and are supportive of the proposed artwork and placements for the 2022 Sculpture Walk program. Today we have Brandon Hansen, who is the Executive Director of Museums at the Pavilion, as well as Sculpture Walk, and Cody Henricks, who is the curator at the Pavilion and Sculpture Walk. So here they are.
Thanks, Dan. Hi, councilors. Thank you for seeing us today. We've been looking forward to this for a long while. And like Diane said, I'm the Executive Director of Sculpture Walk. I thought I would spend a little time and maybe explain the relationship between the Pavilion and Sculpture Walk, and then give it over to our curator to talk about the art. And so the mission of Sculpture Walk is art to the people. We have kind of a unique arrangement with them. It's a managed services contract, and so the Pavilion provides the labor in short terms for Sculpture Walk. This was really an effort to make sure that when Jim Clark retired, this one-man show, the organization didn't collapse underneath of itself. And so that's our focus, is sustainability. The first year for us has really been expense management, sustainability, and knowledge transfer, making sure that this can live on beyond us in our time, because we'll either quit, die, or be fired. And so we're very aware of that, and so we want to make sure that this program continues. The public loves it, and that mission, art to the people, is really what it's all about. This program is about free access to public art, which has a direct impact on economics, on quality of life, all of that. And so, again, it's our 19th year. Next year, we're looking forward to a lot of big things with the 20th year, and we'll announce some of that maybe later. But with 1,000 new sculptures in downtown Sioux Falls, that's not really the breadth of what we do. We actually, every year, while there's 67 downtown, we actually manage about 120 off and on at different locations like Avera, USF, Watertown, and a couple other places in the city. And so we're in a lot of places, and we could be in a lot more. I think one thing we have learned, this small nonprofit of Sculpture Walk, is the margins are really tight. And so we're always focused on, again, on expense management and making sure that this organization lives on. But it is a nonprofit. It's its own organization. It is separate from the pavilion. It has its own financials, its own executive board. Our board chair is Regan Smith, who's the emergency manager for the city. So we're really heavily involved in what you guys are doing. We want to continue to be really great partners. And so with that, I'm going to hand it over to Cody Henricks to talk about the selections.
It's a lot of pressure. I'm Cody Henricks. I'm the curator of the Visual Arts Center and also Sculpture Walk. I'm going to bang through these pretty quickly. If you hate something, don't talk to me about it. If you love it, give me a thumbs up, and we're just going to move on through it. I'm a quick, fast, and entertaining guy. The first piece we have is Clark Martinick. This is a Mitchell native, so this guy hammer forges these things. This one will sit inside the Visitor Center at the Sculpture Walk at the pavilion. This one is a plumb bob. We actually are going to triangulate the location of Sculpture Walk. So there will be 3 of these identical sculptures at 3 locations. If you have any safety concerns or anything, just chime in, or questions, comments. So this is Tenderness. This is by Reno Carrillo. This is a guy out of Colorado. Steve Nick, this will be in front of Boyce Law Firm. This guy makes art and stores it in grain bins. It's a really entertaining guy. John Cameron, this will be in front of Washington Square. This is a lease site. That's really hard to see in this image, but if you look closely or squint your eyes, you'll notice that you're actually looking at a buffalo. This one has a nice heartwarming story, which this artist saw Sculpture Walk about 8 years ago, bought a welder, taught himself to weld, worked diligently to make a piece of art, and finally felt the courage to submit to us. And he only created sculptures so that he could get into our program. So he is represented this year and will be in front of that Premier Bank space. This is a Sioux Falls native, John Richtrick, and this piece has got an optical illusion left and right on both sides. And we're kind of geographically, you guys know where we're at here. We're next to the courthouse now. So this is Shoshone Gosh out of Colorado. This is Sandra Johnson from Nebraska. This will be over by the Carroll Institute by Ace Nyberg's there. Carpe Carp, little word play here, sees the carp. This is on the Fernson corner. That'll be bronze. So there's some miscommunication between the images here and what will show up. These are plasticine in the images, but they will be bronze cast when they show up. So that won't be white, it'll be brown. Nathan Johansson, an artist from Missouri. This is a new artist on the right, Gideon Namawengo and Jade Windle on the left. Both of these are stone sculptures, so the one on the left will be a marble, my left, stage left there, and on the one on the right will be is a artist from Zimbabwe, which we have several of his works this year. This is a sculpture called Nimrod. No offense to any of you, that's just the name of the sculpture. This is Nimrod by Alex Mendez. This is Gideon Wanamengo again in front of Dakota Bank or Woods Fuller there on the corner. This is Mother and Child by Albert Ray, stainless steel brushed, not that dissimilar from the Arc of Dreams. Our executive assistant who worked really, really hard on this, Sarah Goff, loves this one. This is a dodecahedron or a icosahedron. It's a 20-sided dice. This is Nathan Johansson again, another one. This will be in front of J.H. & Sons. So if you have kind of following along on the geography here. We're in front of Fiero's, another piece by Gideon, another stone sculpture. This is a rather sizable stone sculpture. And then here on the corner by Kafia, we have this piece, which is a series of endangered or extinct species moving inward on both sides in cut steel. All right, so now we get to some interesting things. We moved a number of pedestals around. So because of the Phillips construction project, which was put on hold, we were still planning to move a number of those pieces. So we've been moving Sioux Quartzite pedestals further down Phillips in an effort to extend the Phillips from the pavilion to the Levitt, really to make that a walkable space. So actually here in front of Hello High, one of those pedestals is moving all the way down next to the Orpheum, which we've been slowly, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but we've been slowly chipping away at getting those to go down there. Backwards, just kidding. This was an artist that you guys have probably all noticed around town. I call them Ginger Roots. That's what they look like to me, but this is Will Vanderson. He's from Missouri. We have on one side a sly fox and on the other side a sleepy owl. This is just for my pure enjoyment. And this is a mock-up, so it won't look like this. I promise it'll be really well fabricated and made of metal. I just got a progress image from the artist yesterday. And this is right on the corner by the Eagle, which is right on Phillips. What the heck are we looking at here? This is actually the fountain behind the Hilton. The fountain behind the Hilton has had a sculpture pedestal which we have never used. And this particular sculpture, which is over by that person walking, is actually a water feature. And it's a ballerina, and her ballerina skirt is a water. So it hooks up to a water system there. On the front side of the Hilton, we haven't had a sculpture there for a few years, and we're putting one back. This is another stone sculpture of a basketball player. There's our second plumb bob. So we've triangulated at the corner of 8th and Railroad next to the shopping center there. If you've gone over to the rail yard flats past the high ball, there's going to be just 2 sculptures back there this year. So one by Jeff Satter, a Sioux Falls artist, and a small sort of trilobite, which is a fossil sculpture. We're over by Sharapa here. This is a sculpture named by Tim Adams called Oxbow, stainless steel. And then this one is going to be cast in bronze, and this will sit right in front of Sharapa Place near the Greenway space. We cross over the bridge. If you're walking in your mind, you've crossed over the walking bridge by the Arc of Dreams, and you're actually by the 7th Street construction that'll be going up here shortly. These two will be in front of that building, rock with the black paint on the side. I'm just using all kinds of geographic locations. I hope you're keeping up. This is going to be a large mosaic. It'll actually frame the Arc of Dreams in the backdrop. So when you look through this and you take a picture, you get yourself a selfie. You all seem like selfie type people. When you take your selfie, you'll get Raven or the Arc of Dreams behind you inside of the frame. Now our third plumb bob, which takes us to the farthest corner, which will be just near the Jones building, our kitty corner from the source. And this is over by Fresh Produce right in front of. This is Cherry Creek. It's a steel cutout. We're back on Phillips, coming back down by the Jones, right out in front. This is excellent sculptor. This is Darwin Wolf, a Sioux Falls native. This is Sioux Code Talkers. So there was actually 2 of these submitted. So this is a Navajo code talker from World War I, and he has one from World War II. The World War II model will be at Avera. The World War I model will be on Sculpture Walk. So this will be cast in bronze as well, right in front of the Orpheum. As we come down, this will be on 5th. This marked 5th and Main, but this will actually be still on Phillips moving forward. Another one by Arthur Norby, which was an artist from before. This is called Girls Night Out. It's got a young lady riding a horse. Nice, tasteful cast bronze children. This will be right next to the Holiday Inn when a pedestal we've moved. And then we're on the corner with the Steve Bormus, another Sioux Falls native, in that same location it's always been. These ones plug in, they light up. We cross over by Wells Fargo. This is Serge, don't want to ruin his last name, but he's Ukrainian. It starts with an M. And I could do my best, but it'd be my worst. We're coming still on that same block, just past Wells Fargo. This is Harlequin, a cast steel sculpture. The dragon won't be there. It'll be replaced by a chameleon, but the sculpture in the foreground is another piece by Clark Marnigick, a artist from Mitchell, South Dakota. And then what will be in place of the dragon is a gigantic, colorful chameleon. So prepare yourselves. It's huge. It's about car size. I'm not exactly sure how we're going to get it there, but it's going to be there. This is Ben Hammond, an artist we've had for years and years, very classical. He's also the guy who does the bust for the NFL Hall of Fame. This past year it was Thor sculpture on that pedestal, same pedestal. This is a little bit of a deceiving image. That piece will actually be out in the center where We Can Do It was before. Those are little brass tags. So as the breeze picks up, you're going to hear a gentle chiming just outside of the Phillips Diner there. And that'll sit about 9 feet in the air in that open area in the center of that space. Same right out in front of the Phillips Diner, another one from Nathan Johansson, bronze cast. And then this is Miss and a piece by Jeff Satter. The one on the left is a heartfelt story about a gentleman who lost his wife recently and made 2 pieces in her memory. One is holding a flag and the other is a woman riding a horse. As we cross over the street, we'd actually be on the west side here by, I don't know what's on that corner, Trust maybe, the Trust building. This is a piece that's going to be in that space. This is a gigantic dream catcher. It stands about 9 feet tall. It'll be standing on the corner there in a pedestal sponsored by Bill and Lynn Byrne, just on the corner by the Phillips Diner. That's the other piece by the gentleman who lost his wife, Lu Wang. 3 perfect center circles, bronze cast. This is in front of the Carpenter building, so you have Travis Sorensen in the center. You have our classic colory animal, the bull made out of forks and spoons on the left, and you have a brushed stainless steel piece on the far right there. Whoops, wrong way. Jeepers, I'm a rookie. On the corner by the Child's Playthings, this is a giant piece of corn, ceramic corn with a steel shell by Mark Hall is the artist name, out of Mankato. Crossover by Minerva's, and you have a bronze cast by Bobby Carlisle called The Day's Catch. Another Jake on bass, he's back in action. This time it's Jakey Be Good, and he's rocking out with a guitar in front of C.H. Patisserie. And the city owns Jake on bass, the sculpture on the other one, the example there. This is Osamed Obazi. Am I saying that right, Brandon? Osamed Obazi. And this is going to be in front of the Sargent building on Phillips. What am I doing? We double slide there. Perfect. Bear with me. Dale Lewis in front of JL Beers. This is exactly what you think it is, a tree. And these are kind of the Dancy ribbon things in front of the Blarney Stone. And this is my favorite sculpture, no bias, but if you want to vote for one, this is one I would choose. This is Celine by Nathan Pierce. Vote for this one. This is Celine by Nathan Pierce on the corner by the Blarney Stone. And again, the mission to Sculpture Walk is art to the people. And the last thing that I would say to you guys is that having spent 1 year doing in steadfast of what Jim Clark did, the man really tackled a remarkable and gigantic feat every year to orchestrate all these sculptures and move them around, as well as the city partnerships, the public partnerships, the mass amount of people involved in this. So if you happen to see him, tell him thank you for the work that he did for the city. In addition to that, we have been championing this as 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 people, and it's really been a labor of love, and we're really excited to get those new sculptures out to you guys this year. So unless you guys have questions for me, I'm going to get out of here. I promise. That guy, I was going to only be up here about 15 minutes. Anything?
Yes. Well, first of all, I was always blown away by Jim Clark's being able to just go through all of these sculptures, and now you did it too. So this must be a labor of love for you guys. So, but it's very impressive. I don't know when this happens. Has a People's Choice been selected from the current round that is just
People's
finishing up?
Choice was the very first sculpture that we saw. We Can
I'm
Do
sorry,
It by
Human
Lee
Rights.
Looning. So it's the bronze gal flexing her muscles on top of the earth.
Okay, great, awesome. I like that one. And then I think the media was making some reference to Sculpture Walk expanding beyond downtown to some extent. Can you elaborate on what
Yeah,
that
absolutely.
actually entails?
So we actually placed 4 sculptures in the Cathedral District between the Cathedral building on 8th Street and 10th Street on Duluth. So if you are familiar with Adam Weber's house as the center house on that block there, in front of Adam Weber's house, we placed a pedestal which will have a sculpture by Cameron Stahlheim. Hi. By Cameron Stahlheim, who is Sioux Falls native. On the far corner is a Lori Acott piece on that Duluth and 8th, I think. And then you go 2 blocks down and on Duluth, and just before 10th Street, there's 2 more sculptures. One right up on the corner at the last house in the boulevard, and one by Clark, also in front of a house that's being restored. So we expanded to 4 locations there, in addition to adding 7 more sculptures to Sculpture Walk proper.
Is that just something that we're going to give a try and then maybe, I don't know, rotate around the city, or maybe?
I think if you asked the folks over in the Cathedral District that they would love to see that become a walkable block or walkable 4 blocks over there. From our side of things, we were just excited to have such a passionate partnership from those individuals, because it's private individuals who sponsored those artists in that neighborhood.
Okay.
And I think, without speaking over Brandon, who is my boss, that we're always looking for opportunities to grow the program to meet the mission standard, which is how can we get more people in front of sculpture?
Was there a reach out from Cathedral? Is that kind of how
Yes,
this
a couple
organically
residents of
started?
the Cathedral District reached out to us directly and had been petitioning for a handful of years to talk about how can we get sculptures into our neighborhood.
Yeah.
And for us, it's a pretty straightforward thing. We're working with 600 or 700 artists at any given time. And so if we can broker deals for those artists, we're also benefiting them as well as our community.
Yeah, well, excuse me. Well, one of the basic principles of walkability is that it's not just walking for the sake of walking. There should be destinations and there should be things along the way, and that's where public art can come in. So seeing that, you know, showing up in neighborhoods is really, really a cool thing. So I'm excited to see it.
Awesome.
So thanks.
Where do you live? We can put one over there.
Very, very west side of town.
Okay.
So it's not very picturesque out on
Well,
Ellis
it will
Road.
be when we
so-
get sculptures
But
up
we could
there,
definitely
just
use sculptures because we don't have anything else. So.
Counselor Kiley?
Thank you very much. Well, art's supposed to be thought-provoking, something that creates a conversation between perfect strangers that are just standing there, admiring it, sometimes figuring out just what it is that the artist's intent was. It's supposed to be inspiring, and obviously it was for this gentleman that was not an artist, picked up his own welding set, and now I think that is one of the coolest stories of the afternoon. Now he has a piece in our show. That just goes to show what the Sculpture Walk has done for this community. I'm curious, how long has he been welding? How long a period of time did it take?
I think he has 5 years of diligent work in, and he's sharing studio space with a couple other veteran sculptors. He's a Minnesota guy. I'm excited. They'll all be here on the 13th, and actually we'll make Sarah a skin crawl, but I'll extend an invitation to all of our council that they could show up and meet the artists, because the true magic of art is knowing the people. If you get to know the artist personally, it'll change you. You know, even if you really hate the way it looks, you'll suddenly realize it's a human being who made it, and that changes hearts and minds. You know, so come on down. You can meet the guy.
You bet. Be great. Thank you.
Yep.
Other questions, comments? Well, I will tell you, as a welder, there's an art to it. There really is an art to welding. There are no other questions, comments. Thank you very much for the presentation. It's very insightful, and it really adds to the flavor of Sioux Falls, and we really appreciate what you guys do.
Thanks very much.
At this time, we'll take public comment. Seeing none,
Mr. Chair, I would ask that we go into executive session, consulting with legal counsel or reviewing communications from legal counsel about proposed or pending litigation on contractual matters pursuant to SDCL 1-25-23.
Second, Nightzert.
moved and seconded. Let's have a vote, please.
Council members Kiley? Nightzert?
Yes.
Selberg?
Yes.
Sale?
Yes,
Star?
the motion is passed 5-0. Thank you very much. Please clear the room for executive session.